Hello, 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 and welcome to this week's episode of the Confidently You podcast. I'm Helen, your host and head coach here at Fit Girl Club HQ, women's health, wellness, lifestyle coach. How are you? How's your week been? If you're watching this, I'm not going to lie, I look a bit knackered. I am feeling a bit tired actually. TMI. It's what I'm about. If this is your first impression of me, by the way, hi, welcome, jump in. But TMI, I don't have periods because I've got a coil. I have to got an IUD, but it's not that. It's an IED, isn't it? Well, I get the wrong. One's an explosive device and one's something you put inside your womb. Anyway, I've got the one inside your womb, and so I don't really get periods anymore. But every once in a while, I will get symptoms of a period, and it's like the most intense. On Friday, I was in such a bad mood, and I even said to mine, I was like, I'm grumpy, I'm in a bad mood, I'm tired, full PMS. And then since then, I've just felt a bit tired, and yeah, just PMS symptoms, girls. It happens to all of us, whether you're going through it now, or you're in perimenopause, or you're postmenopause, and you know what it's like. Every single woman on this planet knows what it's like to struggle with your hormones. I'm very blessed in the fact that I've never struggled constantly. I know some people constantly, like every month, it is just horrific. And I just probably once every 6 months just get this, and I'm just feeling a bit battered. But I'm good. I'm in good spirits. I also went for a really big run on Sunday, which was amazing. It was the first big trail run I've done since my ultra. And it's the first run I've done since the ultra that actually felt quite good. It took us longer than expected, but it was such a hard route. We went on the recce run for Martin's doing a hard Moors, including the name, hard Moors. It is what it is. It is hard. Half marathon, which is actually 14.5 miles, not the actual official 13.1. Rosemary topping and the route. It's beautiful, absolutely stunning, and luckily the temperature dropped a bit that day, and so I do think that genuinely helps me. I don't like running when it's too hot. I get out of breath. I'm really sweaty anyway. Just find it a bit more challenging. Anyway, we started on this route and you're straight up I mean massive, like, steep hill. Pulls are out, deep breathing, sweating. I had sweat dripping in my eye. And then you go across the moors, the heather's out, it's absolutely beautiful. And then down a big hill, up Rosemary Topping. So if you've never been, it's just like, it looks like a nipple in the middle of the moors. And I won't say it's that big a hill, but it's quite steep, just straight up. Look, it's like a little pyramid shape. Up to the top, touch the top, then you have to go back down the other side, straight away back up, and then back down the other side, then across and up to Captain Cook's Monument. Honestly, up, 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 up. So the first 7 miles took us ages, and then the next 7 didn't take us as long because it was more runnable. But yeah, we had fun, and I made a flapjack, homemade flapjack for fuel. And for the first time ever, girls, I hate to admit this because I'm so on it with my nutrition and my running and everything I do, but I eat when I feel like I should. I try and time it on my watch. I know I should be eating every like half hour. If you're new here, I'm a runner. I got into it a few years ago. Go back on podcasts. I've talked about my couch to ultra and my other races and things, but I get really obsessed with stuff, and as a coach I'm like specific about stuff, and I know you should be eating like every half hour really. I don't do gels. I have some running nutrition, but I make my own gels or take maple syrup or other things. Anyway, go back and listen to those podcasts if you want to listen to about that. But I made some flapjack and I set an alarm for every half an hour that says eat, that goes off on my watch. So literally every half hour I was like shouting to Martin, I was like, eat, and we had this little sliver of flapjack that was made with oats, peanut butter, honey, homemade raspberry jam that mum gave me, and banana. So really quality ingredients. We had a bit of that every half hour. And my gosh, the difference. I felt mint. So, yeah, I should have been doing that all along, shouldn't I, really? I'm just getting more specific after my did not finish of the Lakeland 50. I'm just getting more specific with things that I might have made errors with. We still can't pinpoint what actually went wrong, but might have made errors with. Did actually see someone the other day and they said they went dizzy and I had a hot flush as well. And that apparently is something to do with heat exhaustion as well, so I do wonder. Anyway, You live and learn. But I'm here today to talk to you about something that's really important when it comes to when you're making any changes, whether that's fat loss or fitness or lifestyle changes or anything. Maybe you're stopping drinking, or maybe, it's changes in your identity and who you are, and identity shifts, and you want to make these changes. You go through the contemplation stage, you get really excited, and then you start on the journey, and then someone says something. So this could either be your partner, your parents, your best friend, Sally down the street, someone at work, your mother-in-law. Who knows? It could be anyone. It could be your father-in-law. It tends to come more from women usually, or a partner, and I shouldn't say that as in specifics, but men don't tend to really care as much, or unless it's your partner and it's affecting them. So today I want to talk about, are the people around you keeping you stuck? Now, all my podcasts come with this is all my one opinion, two, I've been coaching for 7 years, and three, I've had to go through stuff like this. So I'm not sat here on my high horse going, oh yeah, do this, 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 and this. I practice what I preach. Everything I tell you to do, I've either done myself or I do now, okay? With everything. Sometimes this is the hardest pill to swallow because you can control what you're doing. If you decide to fall first in a tub of Ben and Jerry's, you've made that decision. When it comes to outside influence, you cannot control it. You cannot control other people. All you can control is yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, and your boundaries. That's what I'm here to help with, right? If you're new here, go back and listen to all my podcasts, because I talk not just about fat loss, not just about getting fit. I talk about the mindset side of things and everything else that happens in between. Because when we talk about like fat loss and fitness, on paper it's simple, isn't it? Simple science, calorie deficit, move more, eat less, blah, 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 boring. But it's not easy because there's so many factors that come into it and so many factors that come down to actually making change. This actually came about for one of my clients. She's been with me for a year. She's done I absolutely love her. She is one of my great success stories. And by that, I mean, I help loads of women, and I get women that'll come to me and I just tell them what to do and off they go and do it. But the ones that really stick with me are the ones that it's more challenging. Like, they're having to overcome so many big obstacles, and seeing them succeed is sometimes like my greatest success. I'd say not challenging, but I have to put more work in with these people. Like, if I wanted an easy life, the clients who just get on and do it, woohoo, yeah, and I love them all equally. But the ones who have just so many complicated things, and it's usually about identity and self-awareness and shifting thoughts and beliefs, the mindset shifts, that's the hardest battle that anyone has to face. And it's one of the girls who I've been helping for a year, and she's just made such amazing progress, especially in the last 6 months. The first 6 months, I think there was a lot of fight back. The last 6 months, she's really started making loads of big changes. What do you do if you've got like a group of friends that are constantly encourage you to go to the pub and do certain things and you don't want to go? So that's the premise of this podcast today, and it's what I want to talk about, because most of you, if not now, will have had, or you will have in the future, people around you who sabotage you. And intentional, unintentional, that's not my point here. I'm not here to point fingers. Remember, the only thing you can control is you, yourself, your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and boundaries. So, when I talk about sabotage, I'm not talking about like obvious sabotage. They're not sat there with a funnel throwing cake down your neck or anything like that. It's the unintentional sabotage, and this is the things that creep up. And unless you recognise this, you won't notice it. And it's a question I always ask when a client signs up to me. You have to fill in an extensive form. I know it sounds really boring, but I want to know everything about your life. And I've put a question there: who supports you and who will sabotage you? And some people sabotage it themselves, but you can control that and you can change that. But for other people, it's like your partner, he's or she naturally slim, can eat what they want, doesn't gain any weight, loves a takeaway on a weekend, wants to go to the pub, wants to go out for pub meals, wants to do these things. So by you embarking on these goals to make your life healthier and happier, you're in turn changing their life sometimes. Okay? So you have to recognise this. And this is sometimes about a conversation as well. A conversation with that partner or person and being like, well, I'm doing this because I feel normally when people come to me, they're down and out, they've had enough, they're fed up, they want to change, they want to feel better. And sometimes having that conversation with a partner and saying, look, I really want to do this, I'm paying money for it, I've got a coach, I'm investing in it, I want to give it my all, can we have some compromise? And sometimes having that discussion really helps. And saying, well, we'll still get a takeaway once a month, but instead of going to the kebab shop, we'll go to a Thai restaurant or a Thai takeaway. There's different things like this, and this is what I help in my coaching, and I'll give ideas and examples, or fakeaways, or right, I'll still come to the pub with you, but I won't drink as much, or I won't drink this, or I'm going to change my drink to this. And it's a conversation. I think sometimes the problem is there's not a conversation, and then when the partner comes and is like, oh, well, I really like my takeaway and I can't do it. And you're like, well, I'm not doing it, blah, blah, blah. And it becomes an argument, it becomes heated. Whereas if you just had a conversation before, if someone is supportive, but just they didn't understand, they'll come round. But then on the flip side, if someone isn't actually supportive, that's a lot harder to deal with, but you can deal with it. You'll also have like the friend or the mother or mother-in-law or family member who's like, oh, go and just have one. Oh, come on, what's wrong with you? This is really prevalent as well if you stop drinking and you hang around with a lot of people that like to have a drink. It's more of a reflection on them than you. Saying no is a full answer. Like if someone's like, oh, have a piece of cake, and you feel guilty because Janice in the office has baked a cake, but you're putting Janice's thoughts and feelings and emotions before your own. When I tell people this, I think they realise that, oh yeah, why am I doing that? Just because Janice has baked a cake, oh, you have the conversation before. I'm on a weight loss journey, I'm trying to better my health, I'll have cake once a month, but please don't offer me it every day. And then if someone keeps offering it, that's them problem. They're not listening to you, they're not understanding you, and they're not helping you. It's not obsessive. You're not saying, I only eat kale now and I want to be a size 0. You are genuinely trying to make your health better. So it's the boundaries. It's back to thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and boundaries. What boundaries and communication have you put in place with these people beforehand? If it's someone you don't know very well, why do you care what they think if you say no to their piece of cake? That says more about you and your need to be liked. So your need to be liked is higher than your want to be healthier. And that's where you have to have a mindset shift of like, well, actually, which is higher? Because what matters more to you? And it's having this belief shift. And if you've had these beliefs all your lives, I talked about beliefs 2 weeks ago. If you've had these beliefs all your beliefs all your life, it is hard to undo it. I know I'm making it sound really simple in this podcast, but I, one, understand, and two, appreciate it is harder to overcome. But what you need to do is just start practicing. Start small. Start with someone easy. Start with someone you know who'll actually support you. And then you move on to the bigger fish who you know are going to be a bit more standoffish or have an opinion. So sometimes when it comes to sabotaging, when I say it says more about them than you, it's when your goals disrupt someone else's normal, okay? Or it shines a light on their habits. People are selfish now. Martin has this really good saying about like people, and he's really good when he meets new people. And he's like, and I said, how do you get these conversations with these people you've never met? And it's like, people like to talk about themselves. Well, I know I love to talk about myself, but people genuinely love to talk about themselves. So people are quite self-centered. We all are. It's natural human instinct. You can have empathy and care and love and things like that. I'm not calling you selfish, but people are quite self-centered. So when you shine a light on you not having cake or you doing something, it shines a light on them. Alcohol's the really obvious one. When you stop drinking, I luckily didn't really have this because I changed my circumstances at the same time I stopped drinking. Unintentionally, really. I didn't think of it. I didn't intentionally go, I'm going to stop drinking, then I'm going to move back to Filey and start a whole new life again. And I was like, I'm stopping drinking. Then a month later, I moved back. And then my new circle of people, like Martin's never known me to have a drink, and my best mate have never known me to have a drink. So they don't know that version of Helen. But when you're like trying to stay around people and change your habits, drinking's the most obvious one because someone's like, oh, why are you not drinking? Oh, you're boring, or things like that. Yeah, you might be a bit boring. You might, you have to make peace with that because it's for you and your mental health and making you better. I always use the flip side. Imagine if you were taking heroin and you stopped taking heroin. Would someone be like, oh, you're boring? No. They'd be like, oh, well done. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. You have you have your inner circle of people that you love and trust who should support you and you can tell about. But then the outer circle of people that are just acquaintances and friends, you need to make peace with that's their opinion. It says more about them than you. Don't let someone else's opinion change your goals or beliefs about what you want to achieve or how you want to feel. That's ridiculous, isn't it, when you say it out loud? Imagine your best friend coming up to you and going, oh yeah, I was doing this weight loss journey and a lifestyle journey, and I was doing really well and I got a coach. But then I went out on Friday and Sarah said, oh, come on, let's eat a cake. And I just couldn't say no to her, so I ate the whole cake. You'd be like, that was silly, wouldn't you, if that was your best friend? So just like play it out, play it forward. You're not always going to win with this. You're going to be caught off guard. You're going to be probably hungry, and then someone will offer you cake and you'll have it. That's fine. You work on that. You move forward. But if it's about your boundaries and your beliefs, thoughts, and feelings, you don't want to feel like you've let someone down. You don't want to feel like this. That's a you problem. Usually, the person doesn't mean any harm. Now, this as well comes down to communication. Inner circle, someone you really care about. If someone you really care about came to you and sat you down and went, I was feeling really crap, I was putting on loads of body fat, and they're probably going, no, you weren't. And you're like, I was, and I was feeling rubbish, I was feeling lethargic, I wasn't very healthy, I had really poor habits, and I'm working on myself, and I want to be a better person so that I can have the best quality of life moving forward. I'd rather you don't offer me the coffee and the cake, but instead, can we go for a coffee and a walk? Can we do this instead? I still want to be friends with you. Our weekly wine indulge doesn't have to be that. Can we do this instead? And your closest friends should support you. And I'll be honest, if they don't, are they actually friends? Are they actually people you want to be with? Because you're telling someone you want to be healthier, happier, live a better quality of life. If they don't support you, why are they your friends? There's 8 billion people in this world. Now it's harder with family because you can't really just like tell families to go away, but that's why it's harder when it comes from like parents or people you care about close to you in your family. This is a harder conversation to have. So food, alcohol and social pressure, this is the hardest thing. So you want to still have a social life, you don't want to be deemed as boring, but look at me, for example. I went sober 5 years ago. I hardly ever eat out. I just don't really enjoy it. I have a couple of meals out. We had a very nice one on Sunday, actually, Saturday, at a local pub. But it's something I don't do as much. Now, you can still eat out and enjoy your life. And this is what comes down to all or nothing thinking and make better choices. But then you need to like change your surroundings, like get a new hobby, find, get your friends to go with you on new hobbies, active hobbies, go out for hikes, do something fun. I like my idea of fun is a hike. You might go to a dance class together. Me and my best mate are always doing like something different, either a hike or we go to like sauna and swim, or we do like loads of different things. We're always trying new things and different things, going paddleboarding when the weather permits. Do you know, you don't have to be stuck in this echo chamber of, well, on Saturday morning we go to this cafe and have cake every single Saturday, because that's what we do. On Thursday night we go to this pub and have this wine and this is this. Change your lifestyle. That's what it's about. And get your friends to join in with you as well. Start a walking club, a running club, a book club, anything. You can still be social and still have a social life and still have fun and not have it focused around food and alcohol. But also you can still fit those things in occasionally. You just have to do things in moderation, plan them in. One of the girls I used to work with, she had a book club on a Thursday and they'd go to a pub for a pub dinner as well. And I said, right, do you want to eat there? She was like, sometimes I do. I said, right, here's the best things on the menu for it. Other times, eat before you go. About compromise. So it didn't look like she was always just missing out. And I also don't want you to miss out, because if you feel like you're missing out, you then won't stick to stuff. But if you're in this constant stage of doing stuff like consistently, overeating, over consuming, something needs to stop. There has to be a balance somewhere in between. But you don't go from all to nothing. You meet in the middle. And then you'll enjoy it more as well. Sometimes you will get people though that are just like stuck in the ways and they're like, oh, you've changed. And they just don't like that version of you that's changed. But if you're doing it for you to make you healthier and happier, and you've got more energy, and you've got less chance of developing serious illnesses as you get older. You've got a better quality of life. Sometimes it's about like taking a step back from those people, and I don't mean like blocking them, ghosting them, but just not spending as much time with them, and they'll either come with you and join you on the journey, or they won't. Reason, season, or lifetime is what you always say about people in your life. You can have someone in your life for a reason, for a short period of time, for a season or a lifetime, and it doesn't have to be one or the other. People grow, people change, friendships change. It doesn't have to be this massive breakup or end of anything. It doesn't have to be dramatic. You can just start distancing yourself from certain people. Like I said, there's 8 billion people in the world. You'll find new people to hang around with who support you and match your goals. The biggest one is that you can't expect people to support boundaries if you haven't communicated. You cannot be like kicking off and screaming that, oh gosh, Janice always offers me cake and I hate saying no, blah, 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 blah. I just like, have you told this person that you're on a journey? Have you told them how you feel? I don't think my mum listens to this, but I use her as an example sometimes. Love her to bits. But I remember once I was doing loads of training and I was really hungry and I'd come over for something. It was when I didn't live at home. It was only a few years ago, and I was like, oh, I'm really hungry. We've got any toast or anything I can have? And like, oh, have on toast, nice. It was like 4 in the afternoon. She was like, oh, that'll spoil your dinner. I was like, Mum, I'm a grown adult. I know what I'm doing. I know how to look after myself. I'm a qualified nutritionist. I want some food. I'm hungry. And she was like, and I just said, can you stop commenting on my food? My food choices, and to be honest with you, since then she never has. She never comments. She probably thinks I eat a lot though, which I do. A heck of a lot, especially when I'm ultra training. Did I tell you on my ultra? How many calories did I burn that day? Was it 5,000 or 7,000? In a day. In a day! Ridiculous. Absolutely insane. You have to stop blaming everyone else. This is tough love time. Stop blaming everyone else and start looking at your environment. Stop ignoring your environment. So like you have a choice. Don't say you're stuck, don't say you're forced, don't say you have to. You have a choice, and there's always a choice. The hardest one is always going to be parents and partner, because they're stuck in your life. So you've had the conversation, you've told them about your healthy choice, but they're still not supporting you. So then that's also down to a decision. Do these people have my best interests at heart? And that's your decision that you need to make. No one else can tell you that. Only you can tell yourself that. And only you can decide what you want to do with that information going forward. You've always got a choice. Communicate, boundaries, options, choice, and support. And it's hard. It's sometimes the hardest conversation you'll ever have with certain people. But also on the flip side, you can become a positive influence. After my ultra, right, I don't talk about my dad much, but my dad messaged me saying he was proud of me, number one. Picked me up off the floor. He's proud of me, I know that, he just doesn't say it as much. But he then said I'd inspired him to finally do Scarfell. I say finally because he's wanted to do it for years. He turns 70 next week, and to do Scarfell Pike next year. I've inspired him to do that. So that's amazing, isn't it? That I can inspire someone like that. So sometimes by you just going on the journey and just have your boundaries, you don't have to be nasty. You don't be like, oh, Joe. Just like, I've told you this. I've had a conversation. You're not supporting me. This is my choice. And just repeat yourself. The more you repeat yourself, the more bored people get, or just ignore comments. Don't feed the trolls. Sometimes someone's getting at you. Just ignore them. Have a safe space. Hopefully a friend, like your best mate, should be supporting you no matter what. But if they're not, find a new one. And find a friend who'll like just listen, like, oh, mother-in-law's at me again. Just so you can get it off your chest and then carry on with your day. And just, sometimes you have to keep people at a distance. It's sad, but sometimes you have to for your greater good and your personal gains. But other times, real support can look fantastic and it's encouraging, and you can be a role model, especially with your partner. What happens a lot I see with women is they change how they're living and their partner gets fitter and healthier as well. It's like a knock-on effect. They'll start walking more, the partner will walk more. They start drinking less, the partner will drink less. And it's not like a conversation that they said, you have to do this, but you are an inspiration to them and you can have this knock-on effect. I shared a post about this the other day. You ever heard, if if you hang around with 4 fit people, you'll be the 5th. You are a result of the environment you surround yourself with, and it just makes such a big difference. So sometimes it's not the people, it's the conversation you're having. So step number 1, be open, honest, and communicate, which a lot of us don't do. It took me years to learn how to communicate properly, and I still find it hard sometimes. When Martin and I ever have an argument, we've both got previous trauma, and we both instantly go into runaway mode, and then we have to stop ourselves and come back in. That's it, it's over, I'm leaving. Really dramatic. We don't say that, but that's how both our brains go there. Then we stop and we go, right, we have to have a conversation about this, no matter how hard it is. And then once you have a conversation, and then a solution, and then you focus, and it's done. And having that from your partner or your friends or your family is so important. And then most people, 8 times out of 10, I'll say 8 times because it's not always, will support you. And those that don't, either you distance yourself from them or you focus on the ones that do support you. Okay. Hope you liked this episode, because there can also be great support out there. Like if you're wanting to get into a journey and a better lifestyle really and feel better, there's so much support out there. So joining like an online coaching group like Fit Girl Club, we have the community of support of like-minded women. You can join a local run club, join in a local gym classes, surrounding yourself with people that are trying to make positive changes on themselves. Encourage your friends to join a group with you, or do something more active, or just be that positive influence. You can do it, and you can say no to something you don't want. If you really don't want that cake, don't have it. Please don't have it. But if you really, really want it, and it's once a week that you have like, a treat, and it's planned in, enjoy it. There's got to be some compromise, because you didn't get where you are by doing everything, making healthier choices. There's got to be some changes. And when support looks good, like having a coach like me, I'll always say like me, because there are other coaches out there, girls. I'm not the only good coach in the world. There's some really rubbish ones as well, by the way. But there's some really good coaches. Last thing I'm going to tell you today. I've got a client at the minute. She actually messaged me this morning. She didn't do a check-in this week. Very rare. And I was like, hello, are you okay? And she was like, I'm struggling. Summer holidays, it's getting to me. Everything's getting to me. This is too much. Blah, 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 blah. I could hear it in a message. I was like, she's like, I just need to snap back and push harder. I was like, stop. No. You need to take it down a notch. I was like, we need to just make it easier. Let's stop this. And she's already come back to me going, oh my God, I feel better already. I've just taken the pressure off. So you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Having someone good that can listen and support and understand, whether that's a good friend, family member or partner, or coach like me, that support will make a difference to your life. So if you're interested in finding out about how I can help you, I've put my details in the show notes. Let's have a chat. And I hope you're doing well. If this is like resonated with you, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. And I'll speak to you all next week. Goodbye.